Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone. Welcome to the International Women of Blockchain. This is another NF Tuesday moment. I'm really excited about this today because you guys are going to get a chance to see a lot of women that are participating in NFT, as you have been throughout this entire event. We are on day 22, which is a lucky day because it's 22 years in 2000. So this is day 22, and we're very excited to bring you this event once again. We are nearing the end. However, this is our fourth week of giving you this International Women of Blockchain Conference. NF Tuesdays is very exciting because you get to tap into these artists and what they're bringing to this space. A lot of them are very creative and they have so many different ways to show their creativity. And I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. And this is going to be fun because I got a special surprise. Because of this event, a lot of people have been tapping in and have been able to see how they could benefit from this space. And I have one particular person that actually decided to jump full in because of this event. And I'm really excited that they are. But first, I have wonderful things for you guys to experience during this NF Tuesdays. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Olienka Odenerin. I am the founder of Black Women Blockchain Council, also the creator of the International Women of Blockchain event. But I could not do all this without my wonderful committee members who are working tirelessly behind the scene, as well as in our Discord. We do have a Discord that we encourage all of our attendees and those of you that are viewing right now to tap into, because that's where you get to communicate with the committee members, as well as all of our speakers. They're all in there, they're active, they're promoting, they're talking to attendees and getting that communication and community vibe going. So we really want you guys to tap into that. There's so many different opportunities that are out there, and knowing that you have people who have already been through the trenches can give you great advice and could also help you navigate through the space is beneficial, believe me. So we want you guys to definitely tap into that. And given that we are on our 22nd day, we have just less than 10 days, 9 more days before we finally close this event. But I hope throughout this event, you guys were able to see that there are women all across this entire space. And so when you guys hear there are no women or there are not enough women, just realize that maybe some of them are just working hard, their heads down, and they're not necessarily on social media consistently promoting themselves. But do know that they are here and they are active, and they're actively building and actively participating in their own right. And this is an opportunity for you guys to tap into them and get to know them and experience what they're bringing to the table. So with that said, I do want to bring on board a wonderful young lady that we were able to be introduced to during the first week of the IWB event. She's back. She has so much creativity within her that I'm really excited for her to come here and show you her other side of creativity. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on board Mel. Mel, please come off to the stage.
Hi, thank you so much for that intro.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Man, okay, so I know when I first got introduced to you, it was on a clubhouse room. And you were chill. But then all of a sudden, like you started doing something that I was like, wait, hold up. It was captivating. It was wonderful. And then like the whole room got quiet and like we all got absorbed into it, right? And then when you were done, we just had to clap. It was like a standing ovation, right? Because you're coming with this and it's so moving and it's so spiritual in a sense, right? So I want you to introduce yourself and I'll let you have at it. All right. See.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Inka. So my name is Mel. I am a poet in the NFT space. I do written and spoken word poetry. I'm doing a piece today that honors women and I think talks a little bit about the experiences that we face, whether it's online or in real life. I think womanhood is something of a enigma to most, where it's this thing where people kind of know that women are powerful and that we're strong and that we're important to the greater good or whatever. But then sometimes the reception that we receive in certain spaces does not equate to that type of veneration. And so, yeah, I wrote a poem specifically for today, for this conference, just to kind of discuss some of the ways that I view womanhood and the female and feminine experience. And so I'm going to get into the piece right now, actually. It is indescribable to be a woman, to be the stencil made of stars, the blueprint, celestial bodies bearing water in their bellies that will inevitably quench the thirst of those who stand beneath her constellation, thus making women worthy, to have the glint in our eyes woven into every fairy tale, the wonder of womanhood, draped in mythology and so steeped in fable that there is no depth of livelihood to be found at the end of it. But is it not the plight of some who carry a womb to birth a world that convinces itself not to see you? Though you were the body to architect, the very eyes that lay closed behind angry palms, it's the very fate of a mother to still love the child that does not know you are good for them, to hold open arms through every push and denial, all the while never pointing out how the marble floors that we pave this world with, the same ones now sandcastling under your feet, made solid only by the minerals that have gathered from her past, that she lended her back to this foundation of legacy, something every civilization now stands on. But we, the daughters of our mothers, have taken their weary and made it warrior. Prayer hands now lace themselves in one another and sit in earnest, because there's no time left for asking, and we seek no permission. No, this world came from my granny's hip, was passed down from the lapping of my ancestors' tongues and propelled by slave ships, and just like that, you've built these structures from her bones, only to deny us entry, and dare pretend to not know of our legacy. So in every space, we will be triumphant. We will be loud, we will boast, we will boom, we will sing in the tune of the golden age, as is our birthright. So I'll tell you, listen to her. Listen to the woman next to you, to the ones whispering at your back and raining prayers above your heads. Listen. She has swallowed every poison known to man and become the antidote known as woman. So listen also to her cries and see her with open eyes. Because the magic of a woman is not found in theory, speculation, or hyperbole. It is found in reality. We are here to be experienced in earnest, in joy and in sadness, with full spirit and open hearts. And that is the end of the piece. And I wanted just to speak a little bit about some of the themes that were discussed. So again, I think it's a very beautiful experience to be a woman and to have all the womanly intuitions and to have a body that can create life and all these really great things that are often associated with the feminine experience, right? But I also think it's very important for those of us who don't identify as women and who don't understand maybe the feminine experience to be very mindful of how we are approaching women. I think sometimes there is this, again, this grandeur that gets associated with being a woman, where people will exalt you and hail you and make you larger than life, but then don't meet you with the same IRL, like real life, earthly, grounded respect, and don't see you for who you are, don't see you for your pain, or don't see you for what's going on. They only see you for the goodness, right? And so I wanted to kind of touch on that as well, that while women are all these great and amazing things, and while the women who you guys have been seeing in the conference throughout the month are doing really amazing, amazing things, I think it's important to remind yourselves that they're also human and that they also feel, and that they might be able to achieve great things, but that work still takes work, it still takes effort, and they still have other things going on in their lives. And so I think it's very important to view women holistically and to remember that we are deserving of your respect and your love and your care. We're also deserving of a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on sometimes. And yeah, just respect. There's also an element here where I discuss the past and how women historically have aided in the world in really amazing and profound ways. And we often get overwritten in history or undermined. And so I think it's also important that we remember to champion women for their accomplishments and their achievements while they're alive and while they can receive their flowers, and to not let their names be erased from history, to remember that their backs are what this world is currently built on, and to not just default to women when we decide that the world is in disarray and we need something different. We need to try a different tactic, like we're not a plan B, we're not a second option. We are here, we're present, we are smart and intuitive and so creative. And so I think it's very important that we kind of hold women in that regard and remember that, again, we are all human and that we are all on a level playing field. And so let's try not to overexalt people to the point where they are no longer human and they're just something of a myth. And also remember not to believe that anyone is beneath us simply because this world may not see the inherent value in womanhood and in being a mother and in being a sister and a daughter and just a friend, or any of these titles that tend to be associated with femininity. So yeah, that was my piece. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed.
We more than enjoyed that. That was fantastic. I knew that you're going to come through with the poetry, and it was moving. It was moving. Several times listening to a woman, right? It's important to be heard, right? Just as equally important to be seen and respected and appreciated for the value and the added benefit that we bring to this space, right? And oftentimes, people don't see that for various reasons. But in this male-dominated space, right, a lot of women's voices have been drowned, and a lot of women are taking the stand of not allowing that to happen, of making sure that their voices are heard. And as a community of women, we're also encouraging and uplifting each other to make sure that our voices are heard and that people know that we're also participating in this space. And so I think that was a wonderful piece to go in alignment with what we're creating here and this whole event. So I thank you for bringing that to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And how can people reach out to you? Like, because I know you still have a lot more creativity, and you're an artist as well. So, in so many different aspects. So, give people your social media so that they can reach out to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I am at Herbal T GYAL Gal on all social platforms. You can find me on Twitter, Discord, Instagram, everywhere. And that's where I publish all of my NFT poems, all of the other work that I'm doing. And I have a collection coming out soon, so please keep an eye out for that. It should be dropping on OpenSea. But yeah, find me at Herbal T Gal. I'm usually active on Twitter.
Awesome. Awesome. Make sure you guys follow her. She has so many creativity up her sleeves, and tap into her, encourage her, and support her. Thank you very much, Mel. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, man, that was a great beginning, right? That was a great beginning to this wonderful NF Tuesday. And so I am ready to move forward. I'm going to bring on our wonderful doctor. She has been here also the first week, but she came here under wearing a different hat, which oftentimes that's what we do as women. We wear multiple hats, especially in this space and especially when we're navigating through life, right? We at any given time, we know how to put on that hat properly and carry on that role. And she did a fantastic job for our first self-care Sunday. And Dr. Lamney has been able to provide us with some tips, etc. Right? And that's her forte, right? But then there's other side of her. She has a creativity that she's bringing to the stage, and I can't wait for you guys to be introduced to her work and what she's bringing and her success as an NFT artist. So come on up, Dr. Lamney. Hi, Dr.
Hi.
Lamney. How are you? Oh, I got my
How are
bell.
you, Yinka?
I don't know why that bell always
Good
makes
morning.
me like giddy. Good morning.
I'm so happy. Morning. Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can
Yeah?
hear you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for bringing me in. I'm really excited, like you were saying, and thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm really excited to speak about my artwork because it's something typically that I don't really necessarily always get the chance to discuss
Yeah.
because I'm always doing other things, right? And so I'm really happy to be here. So I'm Lemny. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'm gosh, I wear a lot of hats, like Ginka was saying. So in terms of what I'm doing in the NFT space, I've had 25 years of boots on on the ground as a clinician, and I'm really excited about being able to integrate myself as an artist, but also as a woman who has so many different facets to her being. And so, a little bit about myself, just kind of like in general. So, I was born in New York City to Dominican parents. I identify as Afro Dominican. I'm currently living in the Dominican Republic. So, I'm here right now. I'm just really enjoying being home, essentially. In addition to that, I'm an NFT artist, also a collector. I'm an NFT curator with Searchlight at NFT Tips. And so we've put together a whole bunch of different projects and curated different shows. We curated NFT NYC as well as Miami Art Basel, Bitcoin Miami, also South by Southwest, and a couple other shows in the metaverse to include Domance, which was held in a dome and it was on Valentine's Day, so they called it Domance, with romance slash. So that was an alt space, and that was a lot of fun. I did a project there with another woman called Christina, and that was like just wonderful. And I also read some poetry. I'm also a writer. I just finally published my newsletter yesterday, and it can be found on my Twitter, which is a LEM_NY. And that's how you can find me there. And so, yeah, I've sold about 50 NFTs, one of ones, and I've been collected by World of Women. My NFTs have been featured in Forbes magazine, and it's just really wonderful to be here with all of you. The last role that I participate in before I go on and talk a little bit more about my art is, I work as a NFT coach at the Dream Conduit. And what the Dream Conduit is a nonprofit carbon neutral DAO, where we onboard creatives into the NFT space. And my role there is I'm on the executive board as well. And so, I provide consultation and things like that. In addition to being the lead for the coaching conduit, where we, talk to creatives and have host rooms both in Discord, and as well as in Clubhouse and in Twitter Spaces. Most of my responsibilities and my service there, and all of this is completely free of charge. It's a nonprofit, carbon neutral DAO kind in the United States. And so what I do there a lot of is coaching, and utilizing a lot of my training as a clinical psychologist to support creatives with creating community in the NFT space, because as we know, so much of what NFTs are is being in relationship with each other. I do a lot of that, and also support with stress management, mental health, etc. In fact, tomorrow I'll be having a room in Twitter Spaces at 10 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, where I'll be talking about stress management, and it'll look a little bit similar to the talk that I did here with all of you a couple weeks ago when we did that work. So, without further ado, I'd love to talk about these wonderful NFTs. I first heard of NFTs back in October of 2020. A friend of mine who's an artist, told me about the technology, and he's like, you're doing art. You should do this. This is really going to be the wave in the future. And I was really resistant because I really had, like technology hasn't always been, my strongest suit. And so it's really interesting to kind of like come into the space and just to kind of persevere and to do all the work that I do, and not have this be like my wheelhouse. But art definitely is one of them. So I'm really excited to talk to you about the work that I have amassed so far. And so this one piece, if we can go to Yinka, thank you so much for emceeing and for supporting with this. If we can go to my Zora, if you have that, or actually we can start here, where you're at right now. And so Yinka's right now in my foundation, and we can go to the channel collection, which is a collection that I just dropped a couple days ago. I'm really excited about this collection. I hadn't really minted anything in quite a bit. And so, one of the things that I really like to integrate in terms of like my work is my practice as a Buddhist. So this is speaking a lot to some of the work that I've done. Most of my work is abstract digital, some pop work, and this one photograph here that you'll see is a Buddhist mandala. So I really wanted to highlight this because as a clinical psychologist, I used to work in prisons, right? And so I don't know if anyone has ever visited prison, if anyone has ever been incarcerated, or has had any family members that have been, locked up. It's a very difficult and a very hard and a very stressful setting to work in. And so one of the things that I would do in my practice as a Buddhist is it's called Tantra. So I would generate myself in the morning. I would wake up at 4 in the morning and do my practice and generate myself as a deity. Because according to this theory and this philosophy of Buddhism, we're not just these bodies. We're so much more, right? And so like I would do my practice, and and I'm working with people who are very difficult to serve in terms of like having compassion for people who are rapists and murderers. These are people who are cast away from society and locked up and put away. And so in order to have compassion, because that's how I'm going to be able to be of service and to support these people with their healing process, is by having love and compassion for them. So I used to generate myself as a deity in my tantric practice and walk into the prison, and visualizing everyone as a Buddha field as Buddhas, and also as my mothers of past lives. Like in Buddhism, like eternity and reincarnation is a belief, and because of such, we could have had the logic behind that is that we could have had any type of relationship with each other. So I could have been your sister, your brother, your husband, your enemy, your mom, your dad, etc. Just like infinity types of relationships together. And so one of the ways to really kind of like develop compassion for other beings is by perceiving others as your mom. And as we know, as women, as mothers, we provide so much love and care. We carry children in our wombs for 9 months, and so we have so much debt and so much owed and so much gratitude to our mothers from our past lives. And so because of that, I would go in and think of them as their moms, or as they were my moms, right? So this one piece here, Kalula, is one of those teachers who really supported me with going into the prison, being, sub 5 foot tall woman, and really look at these men, as deserving and love, as being, lovable. So this piece here is big ups to Kalula. And then here we have Garchian Triptol teachings. And so this piece is again more of my work in digital abstract drawing and painting. I was listening to him doing one of the teachings, and it's really interesting because he was a he was also incarcerated. I grew up as a child of an incarcerated parent. I grew up going to see my father in prison. And so, this population is very near and dear to me. And so a lot of this collection has to do with my own personal story and my own work, and wanting to juxtapose, divinity and raw truth, and really the hard knocks of life. So this is what this collection means to me. And then Yinka, if you can scroll down a little bit, so that we could see in the screen here the next here. Yes, thank you so much. So this piece here is called Jewel-like Quintessence, and the script says, I wanted to be big, so I made myself small. Right. I think a lot of people have thought about how to bring themselves into the blockchain, how to kind of like, whether it's photographs of themselves, portraits, things like this that will solidify, who and what we were during this point in time, centuries and in ages after we're gone. So with this particular piece here, Jewel-like Quintessence, I intentionally misspelled quintessence, because I think that one of my practices in Buddhism and just in life in general is really trying to like humility is nobility, and I feel like one of the most intelligent people are the most humble. These are the people who don't say, oh, I know everything, and can keep an open mind and flexibility and things like that. So in Buddhism, there's also this sentimentality that we choose our bodies, we choose our parents, and this is consistent with kind of like habituated thought patterns and our mind stream. And so again, I'm very short, and so in order to keep myself humble, as a short woman in society, I don't know about you, I don't know how many of us in here, I think that a lot of how we walk in the world and how we present ourselves in the world has a lot to do with our image and how we carry not only like our bodies but also our stature. And so there's a lot of projections in society, particularly like if you're short or if you're tall, you're already kind of like attributed either like power or you're powerless, contingent on just kind of like how you're framed. And so I feel like somewhere in my mind stream, I decided to become a small woman to make sure that I was always humbled by the gaze of the other, and always remembering my own divinity within this, and not getting too carried away by the ego. So that's this collection in a nutshell. I thank you so much for listening to that one. Maybe now we can move on to the piece that I have on our Zora, if you don't mind, Yinka. Thank you so much. So this piece that Yinka's pulling up now on our Zora, this and I really love this one. Yes, this piece. Okay, so this piece was sitting for about 6 months, and I didn't even know that I hadn't put it up for sale. So things like this do happen. But this one I blast all over social media. This is all over my Twitter, and this piece is called "I See You, Sis." And this one is really like I really love this piece. This piece really speaks to the mix between just realism and also kind of just like this digital spunk. Like this piece is about real queens, and if you see in the caption, it says real queens fix each other's crowns. And so this talks about our sisterhood, just as women, how we really understand what the experience is like of being a woman in a male driven society, and just like the essence and the spirit of being a woman in general. As women, we menstruate, we go through, we have inherited these bodies and these forms that are guided by different types of propensities. Like, we're on a cycle hormonally, connected to the moon in very many ways. And so we have a sisterhood among us. And I really wanted to venerate that. I'm from New York City, like I told you earlier. So like this girl has like her hoop rings, her earrings, which I absolutely just love. I used to like rock my door knockers, when I was growing up. One of the things that I really love, like about a lot of my pieces that you'll see, is I just love having, talking about hair. My hair has been, I don't know about y'all, but we really we have a relationship with our hair, that for better, for worse. It is there. Like hair has been so demonstrative of beauty, of fun, of playfulness and attachment. So, as you see in my other collection, in the one that Yinka was just showing, you see me with a bald head, right? And so like that's part of also kind of like my Buddhist practice, where we release the attachment to the hair. Like I don't know how much time as women we spend, thinking about, concerning about, fixing, doing all this beauty work. And so I really kind of wanted to highlight that. And so that's what this speaks to. As a clinical psychologist, I did my clinical dissertation on Dominican women, ethnic identity, and how this impacted their self-esteem. So as Dominican, we from the Caribbean, we're just very diverse in complexion, in race, in culture, etc. And what brings us kind of together for the most part is the fact that we all speak Spanish in this country. But other than that, you have Dominicans who have Lebanese background, Chinese background, just a huge diversity. And so I sat down with these women and I asked them, what is kind of like the ideal, like beautiful Dominican woman, right? Like what is like the typical that everybody and you wants to look like, and they would say, and the vast majority of these 14 women that I interviewed during this qualitative study, they said, well, she's got to have long hair, she's got to have a big butt, she's got to have like a shape, face like an hourglass, like a guitar, like the number 8, and she needs to be kind of like not too dark, not too light, just kind of like in between. Like her features can be quote unquote too African, et cetera, right? And so when I did the self-esteem inventory, and I asked them all of this, I asked them about hair. We had a whole conversation about what it means to have good hair, bad hair. What are the meaning values behind all of those things. And when I did the self-esteem inventory, the women who identified as Black Dominican were the ones who had the higher self-esteem than the ones who identified as either biracial, mixed, or white, right? And so the reason for this was because they were like, yo, I'm never going to look like that ideal. Like my complexion is never going to look like this, right? Because in the Caribbean, and I think this is also global in terms of colorism, there's a lot of like skin bleaching practices and other ways of really managing, your appearance to fulfill this beauty ideal, right? And so particularly in the Dominican Republic, which is kind of like, they call it lipotourism, where people come here because it's cheaper to have like a BBL, which is a Brazilian butt lift, right? Like all these different types of like surgeries to change what you look like so that you can look like this ideal, like stereotypical, desirable like way of looking. And so I really was exploring that through hair in this particular piece, right? This is, and again, going back to the conversation that I was talking about, why women who identified as Black Dominican had higher self-esteem is because they were like, I'm not gonna look that way, I'm just gonna rock with me, I'm gonna look how I look. Like I can't ever look that way. Like I am who I am, and I'm just gonna accept myself. So those women went through a process of self-acceptance. They stopped retexturing their hair. They just started to go natural. They stopped, engaging in different types of practices that took away just their natural essence. And so I think that this is something that's super important for us to consider as women, in terms of kind of like self-esteem and all these other things, and in our artwork, is to really kind of like explore those themes and those issues that we contend with on a day-to-day. So that's that piece. Thank you so much, Yinka, for highlighting and showing that. Now, if we can go to my Try Showtime, that would be super dope. Thank you, sis. I don't know if you have that there with you, if you can pull up the Try Showtime account. Or if that one's not readily accessible to you, perhaps let's go to the Doing Good, if that's more ready for you. Whatever is easier. And I again appreciate you supporting with the slides. Thank you so much. My screen is broken on my computer, so this is extreme help. So in Doing Good, um, in Doing Good, I think, are we there? Yes. All right. Hey, hold on. I gotta give you some bells. Thank you, Yinka. So here in Doing Good, if we scroll down, or are we on Try Showtime? I can't tell. Can't see. Oh, we're on Showtime. Um, okay. So if you can scroll down a little bit further. Thank you. Fantastic. Okay, so here you're seeing more of my pieces. I've created about, at this point, perhaps 100, over 100 pieces, and some of these I've collected. So not all of these are mine. Actually, Yinka, if you don't mind, let's go to the Doing Good page, because I think that's a little bit more on task with the conversation that we have for today. So this particular piece that Yinka's gonna pull up for us, I put on Doing Good, and this is about this piece is about okay. So essentially, Hanifa Walid, who is a fantastic curator and spoken word poet, put together about 20 artists for the 50th anniversary of Jill Scott Heron's Pieces of a Man album, and she curated a show called Pieces of a Dream. Thank you so much, Inka. You're the bomb. Thank you. And so here, this piece is called Mahogany Woman, sorry. And I was linked up with Mahogany Brown. Sorry about that. And this is the piece that went to Forbes magazine. So what Hanifa did was she curated 20 artists with 20 spoken word poets. One of them being Saul Williams, who's just a prolific and amazing spoken word poet. And we did this project called Pieces of a Dream. And so what we did with that was she linked us up, one on one, and I was linked up with Mahogany. And I this was kind of like a spin-off to the work that she had written for the project. And so when we fundraised for this NFT project, all these different artists, what we were doing was supporting a gentleman called Keith Lamar, who has been on death row for 23 years. And so Keith would come into the calls with us from death row, from solitary confinement, which is one of the places that I worked in. And he and I had a really good relationship and a bond together, because if you've never been to a prison, if you've never visited a prison, if you've never gone to a prison, you really don't know what that type of realm is like for human beings. And there's a lot of suffering there, and so I really wanted to bring light to this piece. This was 3 frames. No, hold on, 12 frames. And I want to give a shout out to Tayo Dam Shoes from Ecolabs, who is the woman who sat with me and taught me how to animate and how to do this GIF, which previously I did not know how to do. And this again is a commemoration to us as women. And she, if you see her, she's multi, her, in terms of her color, her complexion, she's dynamic. In Dominican Republic, we have this doll called Muñeca sin rostro, and that means a doll without a face. And the reason why they do this typical doll is because we are so diverse and so multi-ethnic, that if you put features on the doll, then that's going to identify a particular race or culture. And so to be inclusive, we have this Muñeca sin rostro. You'll see a couple of other of my pieces that really personify this particular doll. in my other collections. But I really wanted to speak about this here. And so I'm really proud of this piece, really proud of that project. And so this is a homage to all of our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated, who are fighting for their lives on death row. Many people who have been incarcerated unjustifiably. If you know about the school to prison pipeline in the U.S., about 94% of all incarcerated people are African American. And so which is completely, if you've seen, Ava DuVernay's 13 documentary about this really horrific practice that we have in the United States, you'll get you'll get more of an idea of what the pain and the hurt and the suffering that's experienced, in our communities of color. So that's this project. I hope that speaks to this art. So in terms of like my artistic style, I'm not speaking so much about the projects. I love to do work that is abstract. I veer away from doing work that is too rigid, too definitive, because for me, when I'm coming to the page, when I'm coming to the screen, when I'm creating, it's really a flow of consciousness. I don't have anything pre-planned. Like, I make it up as I go. I'm very fluid. I'm very organic. I'm in flow. Therapy. It's a therapy for me. To create. I really kind of like disconnect from time and space. For me, it's a very peaceful place that's very consistent with the experience that I have with my Buddhist practice when I am meditating. So like when it comes to suspending the ego and releasing yourself, that's how I'm showing up as an artist. I really don't care if I mess up. Like, anything that I do is perfect because it's coming from me. I'm not somebody who, as an artist, is like really judging myself, or like thinking or critiquing. Yes, there's some pieces I'm like, holy shit, that's really dope. Like, I can't believe I did that, But I'm not one who needs to go ask somebody, what do you think? What do you think about this? Like, I'm not codependent in that, because this is my own personal practice. This is something for me that is very intimate, and it has nothing to do with other people. When I sell my NFTs, when I put them on the blockchain, I release and I let go. When I put them out there, it is no longer mine. What the collector does with them, whether they flip them, whether they bring down the price, that is not that has nothing to do with my worth or the worth of that piece. That simply has to do with the story that's happening for that particular collector. So that's the type of relationship that I have when I come to the blockchain and I'm selling my NFTs. I put them out there and I release it to the world, and that's that. Like, my obligation is to create, right? And to sell and put it out there and to share it, to share this joy and to share this love and this passion. Not so much to feel, humiliated, or to feel a certain type of way about whether it gets sold or not. I think for me, bringing work into the blockchain really has to do with me wanting to leave a legacy of this point in time. I'm not so much about how many sales did I make, or my collector is going to be upset with me because it's been 6 months since I minted. That's none of their business. That's my process. And I understand that this is a space that's very much related to assets, and worth and value, and that people might have different relationships with the work, while they're collecting from artists. I know that for me, when it comes to my collectors, they pretty much hold diamond hands, and what diamond hands is that they hold on. There's very few of my pieces that have gone on and have gained, secondary market value, because people really who buy my work are friends, are people who are in my vicinity. I hardly ever get whales or people who are in to buy or purchase the work to make money off of it. So I'm very grateful to my collectors, and a sale is a sale. I'm happy when the piece is able to be appreciated and goes into the wallet of another person when they share it in social media and things like that. So that's it in a little bit, in a nutshell. Yinka, if you don't mind, just so that we can end here on this note, I would love to show my muñeca sin rostro, and if we can go back to the try showtime, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much, sis. Appreciate you. So I want to show you. Okay, so these pieces that you see up there are part of like my Genesis, the where you see here in the banner. And you can see a lot of that abstract work being personified. Here we go again. On the left, this red one that you'll see, that's my friend David, who brought me into NFTs. He's a person who is has a lot of anxiety, and I just really this is his essence. He wears hats like this, so this is him. The other piece that's to the right, this is me leaving New York City. Really, after the pandemic, I was locked down for about 7 or 8 months in an apartment in Queens. It would be like 3 or 4 days. I was house sitting for a friend of mine, who went up to Buffalo, New York, and I stayed in her apartment in Queens, in Astoria. And if you probably can't see it here, but in the background, you'll see the city. You'll see again, in this pie face of hers, you'll see kind of like all of her different kind of like her races, all of her different complexions. And that's because my background is I'm as a Dominican, I'm extremely mixed. I'm West African, Canary Islander, French, Spanish, Lebanese, and Arawak Indian, which is the native to the Dominican Republic. So I have six ethnic identities all within me, which is like when I show up, people are like, where the hell are you from? Like at any given day, at any point of the world, I can go and show up and have this very fluid type of identity. So this is what she's representing here. Again, this is her fun hair, doing what she does. And this piece, all of these have been collected so far. And I'm just really grateful for these pieces. So Yinka, if you could scroll down, and then we'll end with the muñeca sin rostro, that would be super dope. And maybe we might have to scroll down a little bit, and I'll take off my glasses because I cannot see. I'm at that age in life where I gotta take off my glasses to see close. If you can keep scrolling, I'm not sure whether it's thank you. Just loading slowly. We'll keep going down a little bit further. And some of these pieces are not mine. That abstract one that you see right there, Blue Moon, is mine. So some of these I don't know why they're mixed, but I'm not the boss of Trash Soul Time. Yinka's just showing them. Here's some caked camels that I did with we were doing a homage to the caked apes. And when we were like, all right, we got some camels, we're gonna cake them, and that was just fun. If you can keep going down, maybe we can see one of my girls. And we'll see. Thank you everyone for your patience while these. Yay! Here it is. Okay, so here we have "Leave Me Alone," and so this is the muñeca sin rostro. And and I'm so grateful because the collector who picked this up is Kelsey, and she's also a Dominican curator. I love this piece. And so the women in these statues are always carrying a jar, right? Because we're always, I don't know, as Dominican women, we have a lot of African ancestry, and a lot of the culture in the Caribbean that was brought over from Africa is still consistent and still prevalent, right? So like we still carry buckets on our heads of water, different types of things, and so these dolls are still kind of like personified in that way. So you'll see them all with this type of like gear on their head, and they're typically either kind of like holding flowers, or kind of like or like holding up like whatever, a basket or jar, or whatever thing it is that's on their head, right? Because that changes. And so in this particular piece, I'm saying, and then in the middle, this is me, and I'm like, leave me alone. I think that as women, where there's a lot of pressure. I'm in my 40s, I don't have any children. I think as women, we're very much socialized, in maternal ways, and have these expectations that we're going to be married and that we're going to have children, right? And so there has always been a lot of social pressures. And as someone who has 5 degrees, who has a doctorate, I've always been kind of like pressured to like, like, well, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? Like, are you thinking about this? Like, and for me, like, it was something, that is very kind of like a theme that's throughout a lot of my artwork. Where for 10 years I was absolutely obsessed with wanting to have children. I had a lot of pain and suffering, because I wasn't able to fulfill that developmental part of my life, until I kind of like, healed through that process and finally arrived at a point where I was like, I don't want to have kids. They're beautiful. I think they're awesome, but I like my sleep. Like I love the fact that I get to travel, that I get to have like the life that I have. So like going along with my dissertation and these women, these Black Dominican women who just said, fuck it, I'm not going to fulfill that ideal. I'm just going to be who I am. Like this is where I'm at right now in my 40s, at this point in life where I'm like, yo, just leave me alone. Like you have this woman who's kind of like yelling at her on the right side, and then you have this other woman on the left, who has a baby in her womb and is just very kind of like compassionate and kind of like accepting of what her experience is. If you see like the piece in the middle, she's just very rigid, very tight, just really taking on all of that stress. So I really wanted to personify what that experience is for women, within the cultural framework of the muñeca sin rostro, the doll without a face. So Yinka, I don't know if that's my time. It says 54 minutes on my clock. I'm happy to stop here and take any questions that you might have. I think this exemplifies a little bit the vast majority of my collection. On the right here of the muñeca sin rostro, you see a lot more of my abstract pieces and emotionality, that just comes out. So thank you so much for this time. I want to ring some bells. This has been a really wonderful experience, speaking about my artwork and just showing up in this way. I sincerely appreciate you all. And yes, thank you, sis.
You
Blessings.
welcome, Dr. Lamney. You welcome. I am so excited that you were able to take us on the journey of your artistry, right? And give us an insight into who you are as an artist as well as your work. It is fantastic. They all have deep meaning. And that's what I love about tapping into artists and like the meaning behind their artwork. You get to hear a lot more when they get to start talking about the reasons and what went into creating such elaborate pieces. And all of your work fully represents you as an individual, right? I love the last one, Leave Me Alone, because it really exemplifies sometimes how we women want to navigate through this space, and as well as the fact that in life, right? There's expectations of us, right? To do certain things, to have certain things, and to be a certain way, right? And society is always giving us either directly or indirectly those type of um, uh, comments or signals, etc. And hearing you walk through that, I just thought it was fantastic. It resonated a lot. I love it. It was a fantastic piece. I love all your work because it shows, it represents you. It's pieces of you as an artist, right? I love the stories that you provide, the background that you provide about DR, right? And not a lot of people know that about Dominican Republic. The rich culture, the tie back to West Africa, right? And how a lot of the things that still are practiced, resonates with things that we practice in certain West African countries as well. So I love everything about your pieces. I want to thank you. I'm going to see if there's any questions right now from the audience members. All right, there's no question, but I do have a question for you. I have a few if you don't mind.
Please.
Um, so now that you're back in DR, um, are you going to, because I know you just released a foundation. Should we expect more work from you?
Yes, ma'am. I was handpicked to come on by Monica at the ambassador program at Known Origin. So she brought me on over there. I've been trying to get on the platform for a year, but always missed the application. They close out the applications. It's a curated platform, Known Origin. So when you go on there, You have to, they make the announcement and they're like, all right, when we reach this amount of like, applications, we're shutting it down. And I was always busy running around doing heck of stuff. I always missed the deadline, or just kind of like that opportunity. So I was really fortunate to, she was like, Lemney, like you've been doing so much in the community, like you really, deserve the platform. You don't have to do no application. Like we'll just walk you right in. And so I'm going to drop my Genesis piece, which I've been working on all this past weekend, and I will be dropping that in the next couple of weeks. So I'm super excited about that. I want to kind of give a good push to my collection that I have here. That's on, foundation. Because the issue with foundation is, Yinka, like, I just minted these. I only had one piece on World of Women, which was I presented at Umbadaima, right? And then when I presented there at Umbadaima, like it was collected by World of Women, and that's the other piece that's on there. That's called Empty Partum. And I'm sorry I didn't speak about that piece, but Empty Partum has to speak about how I haven't had ever any postpartum depression, because the partum depression is being empty from not having had any children, right? So that's what that piece speaks to, and that was picked up by World of Women. But I hadn't really put any pieces too much on that platform because they're expensive. Like all the fees are like, with like gas and all of that. So and with gas fees being low, I was like, oh my goodness, this is my opportunity finally to like bite the bullet and to just pull the trigger and to shoot. So if y'all would be so kind and check it out and retweet my pin tweet and go to my Twitter, I would sincerely appreciate that. I really want to push that out. This is a collection that's very near and dear to me, based on everything that you've already heard. And stay tuned. Lots more coming from me. Thank you for that, Yinka.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. So I love it. I love it. I love that you're consistently working. You're consistently putting out information. And I know you've been able to tap into the various Ethereum-based marketplaces. Of all of these marketplaces, which one is your favorite
Oh my
and why?
goodness. Oh God, I'm actually I'm agnostic. I'm blockchain agnostic. That's how I came into the space. So there is none. I think that they all have their pros and cons, and that they all have, when I came out with my Genesis collection back in June, I minted the collection of 25 pieces on Foundation, OpenSea, and Hicketnunk. And my desire was, I want this to be accessible for people who are part of this culture, because you'll do a collection and you're like, okay, this is my whole couture piece. That piece is going on Foundation. This is my ready to wear. Like I'm putting that on like, OpenSea. And this is like my punk rock like pieces. I'm putting those on Hicketnunk, right? I'm putting those on Hen. And so like for me, like they all have different culture, different price points, different types of collectors, different cultures in terms of community. So for me, I like them all for different reasons. I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. Because, as you know, there's a lot of new individuals who are coming into the space, right? And so they're hearing most oftentimes OpenSea.
Mhm.
And I think it's very good for, I guess, veteran artists, right, to be able to talk to these different marketplaces and give them an insight into all of these. And you, as a chain agnostic individual who's basically tried majority of them, having that kind of insight from you is very beneficial. So I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Yes.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let me see. Is there any other stuff that you want to leave, individuals that are coming into the space? Because you mentioned that, you yourself was new to this whole space. Is there any advice or information that you would like to leave people with?
Yes, yes. I think who would have thought that, like, someone who's been always interested in art but was never really supported by by my family to do it. As a psychologist and having practiced as a psychologist and having absolutely being completely self-taught, and not having a background, academic background in art, or coming from these backgrounds, that you can come in and offer the space yourself as who you are, genuinely and holistically you. You don't need to show up and pretend to be something else. When I came in, I was like, oh gosh, I need to make these animated pieces, and they have to look like this, and I was like, who am I kidding? Like, I'm not trained like that. I have no idea how to use Blender or Cinema 4D or none of that stuff. I was like, go and get your Procreate and start playing, like even like like it wasn't even all that. It was just like you could take a photograph of your acrylic pieces and put that on the blockchain, like or like of your drawings and put that on the blockchain. You don't have to fit any type of like model or structure or kind of like any like cookie cutter type of ideology of what you think it is that the space wants or needs from you because of what's quote unquote popular. What you're doing is popular for you, and you are the center of your universe. So whatever it is that you're creating, you're going to be drawing people like your ground, your kind of like foundation in your vibratory space. So like that's the truth of the matter, and that's what guides and leads and brings people and attracts people is to that genuine flow of who you are. So that would be my suggestion. My advice is to show up as you are, no F's given, and really just be yourself, and you will see that the space will rock with you, because what we're really like wanting is diversity of thought. We're trying to leave Web 2 behind. We're trying to come in and be, who we are, and not to be what others kind of like stereotypically expect or want from us. Like every individual is unique. You have something to offer that's completely different from somebody else. The way that somebody makes chicken, oh my God, that's the best way that they make their chicken. Okay. And so everybody has that one thing. So attach yourself to that and bank on that, because that's really what's going to push you forward. You got to stay in your flow. You can't fake the funk. Be who you are, and the universe will carry you through. Thank you, Yanka.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Dr. Lamney. Really appreciate it. Blessings. Enjoy DR. As I told you, one day I will be knocking on your door talking about I'm here. So I look forward to that. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sister. Thank you so much. Congratulations to this. This is an amazing, amazing conference. So well done. So well organized. Big ups and shout outs and bells.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, good night, and good
You
afternoon.
too.
Take care.
Bye. All right. So we are now about to transition to our second hour of event. And with this second hour, what we're going to do is bring to you all something very special to me, I guess. I'm very excited. Like I'm sitting here jittery and cheesing very hard. Well, not trying not to cheese so hard, because this next speaker, I will introduce her and you guys will get to know her, and I hope you guys embrace her into this NFT space. So we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back. All right, all right. We are back. All right. So I told you that this next special speaker is special to me. She's actually someone that I've known for a long time that is an artist of all trades. She's the jack of all trade. She's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a teacher, she's a painter, she's a what else? She repurposes her furnitures. She builds furniture. She does it all, and she just so happened to be my younger sister. My sister is coming on stage, and I can't be happier. She can tell you that I've told her so much about this space for a long time. And I've been trying to get her on this space for as long as I've been here. And I've been talking her ear off. And it wasn't until this event that she said, you know what? This is something that I want to be part of. And I'm like, well, duh. this is a space for you. This is something that's created by people that are like you and for people that are like you. A lot of artists in their own right in IRL have been able to tap into this space and seen value and seen growth and been able to find opportunities out of participating in this space. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to my younger sister. She is Rhythm Fit by Ola. Rhythm Fit by Ola. I'm going to call her Ola. Hey, Ola, how are you?
What an introduction. That was amazing. Thank you very much. Hi, how's everyone doing? Hello.
Awesome.
Hi.
All right, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I know I tried, but I'll let you introduce yourself, and then I will come back later when you're done.
Okay, hi everyone. This is fantastic. My name is Ola, and like my sister said, I am an all-around artist, and I've been in that field for quite a long time. And of course, like many of you, I've had ups and downs with it. So bear with me. I'd like to kind of take you guys on a journey of my experiences and all that jazz. So let's get started. So I am a huge geek. Let's just start off with that. Like, I love everything anime, Comic Con, I still collect comic books and things like that. And I do it because I love the artistry of it all. When I was younger, I fell in love with graphic novels and started mimicking those. And it was weird because I didn't really know I could draw until I actually started and later on, and it became like a, oh wow, okay, I can do this. And I remember it caught on with kids in my class in elementary school, and they started having me draw their projects and things like that for them. I should have charged. I never did. But going on from there, I think I stumbled upon talents later as I grew. It's weird. Like it was those things of one day singing and people saying, "Oh, you could carry a note." I was like, "Oh, I guess I can." And that was like later on. It's really weird how you don't really know you have certain talents until something just sparks it. So my first love was either between dancing or drawing. Were my first two. I used to dance around the house. My sister could tell you. I'd make them dance with in my choreography and things. I would make up routines to like Michael Jackson songs, Janet Jackson songs, all that stuff. And then as I got older, got into the drawing and painting, and eventually, in between being the biggest geek in like chess club and mock trial. I don't know if anybody remembers in school you had like clubs like mock trial where you'd have to like uh, debate cases with other people and other schools and things like that. So, in between all those, I stumbled upon theater and found my love of theater. And what could be better than combining acting, dancing, and singing into the repertoire and gaining knowledge from there? So, then after that, I did a lot more of that in high school and went on to tour. Um, Throughout most of the US and a little bit internationally. I actually ended up touring with the Kennedy Center, and that allotted me a fantastic experience to like travel all over the US and parts overseas to be able to just like, it was great to be on stage, dancing, singing, acting. Um, and in between that, I was also painting and and you know as that grew too, I found love of different styles and different artistries, and so I ended up just mixing everything together. So you could catch me at one point painting, um, drawing. At another point, I'd be singing my heart out, um, acting, going to acting classes, things like that, and dancing and taking all sorts of dance. So I ended up taking everything from tap to hip hop to jazz, contemporary, modern, you name it, and ballet as well. Um, and within that, I just fell in love even more to the point of after I came back from tour, I also started teaching. So I became a teaching artist and performed as well. So I taught in many performing arts centers in the DMV area, Maryland. Um, I'm now in Charlotte. I just recently moved to Charlotte, but I've been in Maryland, in the DMV most of my life. I was originally born in Nigeria, so family and I migrated over here, and we've had struggles because I believe at some point we lived better in Nigeria than we did here, but I guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and our family has flourished since since our step into the U.S. And as my sister told you, I did love to dabble in so many different aspects of arts, to where I would refurbish furniture and put like drawings, paintings on them, just make it artistic, and then I would like resell and so on. I've had art exhibitions as well, and like any artist, you do go that paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. So um, after tour also, and after teaching for a while, I decided it was time for me to open up a brick and mortar. And so I had a studio, a dance studio for some years, and it was a struggle. If anybody listening knows Maryland, I think Maryland is very underrated because every time someone mentions Maryland, they mention Baltimore or The Wire, things like that, and not realizing that Maryland, being close to DC, is one of the most expensive places to live, and it's just getting higher. I think it's one of the top five now, places to live, because it's so close and it's connected with Washington, D.C. So imagine the cost of having a business, having a storefront. It was a struggle for many years. It was a learning curve because I love the idea of having a brick and mortar, because I had so many kids that uh, followed me from the different places that I taught, and I was thinking, hey, I need a place to go. I need a place to house these people, and just thinking fully of my love of teaching, my love of the arts, and not fully understanding all that it entails with owning a brick and mortar, because I tell you, I was more in it for the people, the kids and adults that took my classes. And I wasn't as stern on payment as I should have been on it. And, I try to run it as best as I could for about 5, 6 years, and it just drained me. Like, I wasn't paying myself. I was depleted, and then just like ups and downs, I ended up um, losing my storage space because I just could not pay for everything anymore. So I ended up losing my storage space, which housed a lot of my artwork, a lot of my paintings. It's still sad when I think about it. Um, to this day, it still saddens me, and I wonder if I will ever see my paintings on a whim somewhere, somehow, because they were precious to me, and they were, they were really good. And um, yeah, so we all have our struggles, and if it doesn't, everyone's saying like that's my origin story. Like, we have our rough times and things like that, and you know basically almost losing everything just to be able to pay my employees, and all that stuff took a big toll. And so, sectoring now into the NFT space, the biggest thing I'm thinking of is, oh, I literally never have to lose my artwork ever again, because it's on Web3. There's a ledger, there's something that's holding it, that's going to keep people continuously appreciating my work, and it's not going to be less because you can literally backtrace to hands as it flows through, hopefully. Um, so I've had a lot of ups and downs and adventurous times, and I've been very blessed to be able to um, travel and see parts of the world and experience so many things. I learned so much, even though my my brick and mortar didn't last. It did not stop me from continuously trying to rebrand myself because just because something fails doesn't mean you are a failure. That doesn't mean, it just means that there are seasons for things and there are times for things. So and I'm feeling really good about time now, and what I've come up with and started to reinvent myself and accomplish so far. So with that said, I now have um, a new brand called Rhythm Fit, or Rhythm Fit by Ola. I have been able to combine my love of fine arts with performing arts. Um, you know, pre-pandemic, prior to this whole pandemic, I, was very fit. I was teaching, classes, um, up and down, and um, dance. And I, the majority was me just teaching dance. I didn't really work out outside of that. I just, because I was so busy, I maintained a good, healthy eating habits, and I was just dancing a lot. And now with the pandemic, I've gained weight. I don't know about you guys, but I got really lazy because, everything closed down, which means I couldn't do classes anymore. And though we tried to do virtual classes, at some point it wasn't, there were always like technical issues and things like that with trying to do live virtual classes. I think since then, it's gotten a lot better, but it brought on another season for me and a great idea to launch my video library. So it's going to be up very soon. It's Rhythm Fit by Ola, and it's an amazing platform to where you are working out, but it doesn't feel like exercise because you're literally performing or trying to learn choreography that's great for, enhances different parts of your body. So it's a library where you can, pick and choose what program you want to use that day, and what part of the body you want to target. So it's called Rhythm Fit by Ola. So it's graphics, it's pre-recorded, um, uh, virtual library that you can stream anywhere on the go. It's great because you don't have to worry about, gyms closing. You don't have to worry about safety issues and, missing classes that you've paid for because you weren't able to go there on time. This is at your leisure, at your hand, and it's different from a lot of things out there because it's just really fun and entertaining. So I've been able to mix that arts together to bring you graphics, fun graphics that you're looking at, gives you positive reinforcement as you are going along your routines. It also like builds confidence because you don't have to worry about your pace at all. It's always there for you. Rewind, rewatch, all of it, and it's just fun. And you're dancing to popular music. And from there, that gave me a great idea. I'm like, huh, I drew all these graphics. I came up with all these graphics. I did the choreography and stuff in it. this would be a great platform for NFTs because it's just really artistic in itself. So then that just may the ball continuously roll on to from one adventure to the other. So I am going to show you a little bit of my rhythm fit. This is just a demo mix of what to expect when you are subscribed. Trying to share screen here, so I hope this works. Give me one moment. I am trying to. Okay, hopefully. Not sure if it's working here. You guys, let me know if you can see and view what I'm opening up.
So we do see it. So you're good.
Hi, I'm just trying to open up.
All right, share it once again.
Here.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, bear with me. Okay, that's not. That is not. I was going to share my NFTs and my site, but it's not allowing me. It says allow, but
Okay, give me a second. Ola, let me go ahead and cut to a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we'll have her NFT up. All right. We are still trying to work out the technical difficulties. So Ola, are you able to share your screen now?
I hope so. I'm going back onto this to try and share my screen here. And let me bring this up. Are you
Okay.
seeing the
Yes, we do.
video?
The T will bring it up for you. So just give it a second.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
when it brings up, just make sure the folder is ready.
It's rolling.
Okay. So the screen is up now. So go ahead and share.
Um, it's saying it's sharing right now.
Yes, it's sharing.
Do you see it?
Yes, we see your
Okay.
screen, but we don't see the content. All we see is the StreamYard. So do you want to bring
Oh, you
the,
don't see the
oh,
content play? It is playing
no, not, no,
right now.
it's playing right now. Okay. All right. I'm going to remove the screen because what we see is StreamYard. We don't see your content being played. Why don't we bring you back to share the information and then we'll go on to the next speaker. So everyone, my sister will be back. We'll have her, we'll sort through the technical difficulties and then bring her back to share her NFT with you. All right.
Oh,
So let's go ahead and move to our next speaker. Omo Baroni, wow, come on up, please.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Hi. I'm
Good,
fine. How are
good
you?
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm
How's
so
your day going?
good, good, good. I'm excited to have you. I'm gonna let you
Thank
introduce yourself,
you.
and then I'll come back to ask you some questions. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Omobolarinwa. I'm known as King Omobolarinwa. I'm a self-taught traditional and digital artist from Lagos, Nigeria. And I joined the NFT space about 5 months ago, late last year, September, October, thereabouts. And yeah, it's been an amazing and interesting experience so far. I mean, prior to joining the NFT space, I was a complete crypto illiterate, so to speak. But since joining the space, I mean, I know more about the blockchain now. I'm better versed with cryptocurrencies and all of the related stuff. I mean, it's not like I'm an expert in it yet, so to speak, but at least now I have a better idea. And I currently have my work listed. I have my work listed on OpenSea and Rarible. And yeah, I mean, it's just been really nice so far, um, getting to meet more artists in the space. Because as a self-taught artist, it was actually quite a struggle finding my place in the art world. But joining the NFT space really helped with that because it helped me to make more art friends, and it really helped me develop as an artist, and it's been quite nice meeting other self-taught artists too, and understanding that the struggle was not a personal thing. Yeah. What else? What else? Okay. I What kind of art do I do? I'm a mandala artist. I'm an oil and acrylic painter. I also paint murals. I create wearable art. I mean, this shirt I'm wearing currently, I made it the tie and dye. Yeah. So I just like to explore different art styles and techniques. I also recently started doing digital art, and yeah, I just like to explore different art styles and not put myself in a box. I do not like to put myself in a box as an artist, so to speak. So I like to try out different things and explore different art styles and artists. I think that's it with the introduction. So the questions can come now.
Well, thank you very much. I love your work that you
Thank
created.
you.
And, you and I, we connected on Clubhouse. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if you can do me a favor, is it possible to put like a link of your work in the chat so that I can bring it up and you can talk about it?
Okay. Um, you just give me a few seconds. Let me get link.
Okay.
Will
All
a
right.
link to one of my tweets suffice?
Okay. All
Let me
right. Let
just
me
get the
try to
link.
grab that while we're talking right now. That's one thing about this space when you're dealing with so many different people all across the globe. You got to learn to pivot. Sometimes technology will work with you and sometimes it won't work with you, but you definitely learn to pivot and you learn to roll with the flow, right? So, you know,
Mhm.
bear with us, our audience
I was
members.
even
And
praying my internet. I was praying my internet would not mess up today because for some reason it's been moving bad for a bit. So I just pinned the link to one of to some of my paintings in the chat.
okay, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
I'm trying to see if I can find a link to one of my mandalas quickly. Pin that.
So I'm going to go ahead and share this in a few minutes. So how long have you been in the NFT space?
I joined the NFT space in September last year, and I listed my collection on OpenSea in October. Although I dropped a piece with 5 editions on Rarible, just to sort of try out the waters and just see how it goes before I
Mhm.
dropped my collection of hand-drawn mandala pieces on OpenSea. So 5 months now. October, 5 months.
And what do you think of the space so far?
Well, I'll say that it's very interesting. That's the word I'll use. I mean, it's been It's been quite interesting. Well, mostly good experiences, actually. I'm not even going to lie, because I was lucky to make a connection with Nigerian Nigerian artists in the space, not just Nigerian artists too, but African artists in general. And it's
Mhm.
been it's been nice. It's like there's a very, very supportive community. The African NFT community and the Nigerian NFT community are super, super supportive, and I couldn't I can't imagine how I would have navigated the space without them, to be honest. But then there are the downsides to well, like I said, my experiences have been mostly good, but there is the lack of representation of Black people, especially Black women in the space. Even this entire march that we've been saying, oh, Women's Month, International Women's Month, most of the spaces we've seen highlighting women, we see a certain skin tone that always gets all of the highlights. Like
Mm,
most the space is predominantly white men and white women before Black people, then before Black women would
mm,
even, like, would even feature at all. I saw there was this 100 women in crypto or in NFTs or something, a list that I saw, and about 99.9% of the people on that list are white people, and then there was just a sprinkling of one or two Black people, the token Black people for inclusiveness, so to speak. So there's that. And then there is the racism. The racism is actually very crazy. Just today, one of my friends was kicked out of a Twitter space just because he's Nigerian. He was trying to speak, and then the host of the space was like, "Oh, where are you from?" I was like, "Oh, I'm Nigerian." Next thing, he was kicked out of the space immediately. I've been in
wow.
spaces where I didn't even get a chance to speak because all the people on stage are white people that, just talking about their weekend at Basel or this or that. And then when you even come up to speak and you try to speak, like you can literally feel that you're not welcome here. So me personally, I've made a point of avoiding all of these kind of spaces and just, focusing on Black people spaces mostly, to be honest, because I mean, it's just easier to save myself the stress of being exposed to all of that nonsense and all of that toxicity, to be
Mm,
honest. But then, like I said before, the support has been really, really astounding. And I'm not even going to lie, Nigerian artists have been amazing. I mean, I have many of my artist friends that are my collectors as well, that they've bought my PCs and stuff like that. So it's a very supportive ecosystem. But it doesn't also mean that Web3 or the NFT space is some utopia or some safe space where everything is just sunflowers and sunshine and green grasses. No. And another thing that bothers me about the space is the toxic positivity. There's a lot of toxic positivity going on in the space. Sorry, my niece
can you
just got back from
elaborate on
school
that?
and she's at my
No
door.
problem. No
Please
problem.
give me a minute.
Elaborate on the toxic positivity, because this is the first time that I'm hearing this.
Okay, when I say toxic positivity, what I mean is people try to act like everything is all right in the space. And then when you try to point out the things that are not actually right in the space, they make it seem like you're being problematic or you're just trying to create drama. Because I
Mm,
remember one time we were addressing an issue of some people who were telling artists to underprice themselves and reduce the prices of their work just because they are new in the space, and they should try to, build connections and make a name for yourself before you can start pricing your work high. And then we were addressing this issue, and someone was like, we're being sensitive, we should take the advice in good faith and just accept that that's the way it is. When you're a new artist in the space, you cannot price your work past zero point 0.1 or something ridiculous like that. You are supposed to price your one of ones really low so that you know you can make quick sales and probably make more money off the secondary market. And the fact that we're addressing this, they actually tried to make us seem like we were problematic people. Oh, this space is a welcoming space. You guys are trying to create drama and all of that. So that's what I mean by toxic positivity. And then all of the see that wag me phrase. Well, I'm glad people don't even say it so much anymore because I personally have a problem with that phrase because we all know that the only way everybody can make it is if there's proper inclusion and everybody's carried along. But that's not even happening. The inclusion is not even there yet. So why are we trying to, like, how do I put this now? Why are we trying to make it seem like when people now talk about these things, it's a problem? They try to make it seem like, oh, you're not supposed to complain because when you complain, you're giving anti-NFT people more ammo to attack NFTs. But it's not supposed to be that way. If something is wrong, we should address it and talk about it because that is the only way things can get better. Not
Exactly.
forming toxic false positivity and acting like everything is all right. Things would only get worse that way. Things cannot get better that way. So that's when I say positive, toxic positivity or false positivity. That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you felt free enough to share and elaborate more because that's very important. I've always said that we're building the space, not that we're there yet, right? And in order
Mhm.
for us to have that inclusiveness, we need to address and talk about the issues that are happening right now. As we all know, we have people that in IRL have been comfortable in their own niche and cluster of people. And now they're coming into this space where they're being introduced to all types of people. And it's now getting reintroduced to how to address different people from different backs of life, walks of life and background, right?
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
have to be open and receptive. You cannot close the door and say that everything is perfect because, like you said, in that assumption, you're assuming that nothing needs to be fixed. When in reality, we're building, so things need to be fixed, things need to be addressed, and people need to
Exactly.
understand that
Exactly.
even though you might find it positive, the next person next to you is not finding it positive, and is essentially what we're doing is repeating Web 2, but we're screaming Web 3, and,
Exactly.
and that's not what we
Exactly.
want.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Very
I,
true.
I'm I'm really sorry that you did go through that experience. And there's no guarantee that it will be the utopia, but we got to continue to move forward and we got to continue to participate, right? And so I'm very happy that you're able to come on the stage and bring what you're bringing to this space and your work. And so I want you to take this time to go ahead and discuss Arusha.
Okay. Orison. Orison is a Yoruba word. It loosely translates to origin or roots. And this collection features some of my all of them. Okay, there are 9 pieces in this collection. 8 of them are traditional and painted acrylic paintings. Give me a minute. Okay. Yeah. Um, 8 of them are traditional paintings, and one of them is a digital painting. So I'll just start with the digital piece, which is titled Ablawa. Ablawa is my first digital portrait. I actually just started exploring digital art about 2 months ago. I started in no, yeah, about February. I started in February. So that's like my first digital portrait, and it's named after my mom. My mom is from Republic of Benin. She's one. My dad is Nigerian, but my mom is from Republic of Benin. So Ablawa is a name from Republic of Benin, and it loosely translates to beauty, strength, and power, so to speak. Because my mom is from a royal family as well. So that's why I gave this particular piece the purple headscarf to signify the royalty. And I kind of gave her like my mom's facial structure because my mom has this kind of long face kind of thing. But I included the nose rings and the jewelry. I always like to include the nose ring and the jewelry in most of my pieces because I sort of like to represent myself in my pieces as well. Because Nigeria is still a largely conservative society. So for someone like me who likes to color her hair, multiple piercings, and all of that, I still tend to get a lot of flack and a lot of negative feedback because of my appearance. So I try to like recreate myself in a way in my paintings. So this particular collection is basically just to celebrate like my African roots or my African origin, basically just to celebrate the strength and beauty of the African people, so to speak. So Ablawa, that's it, named after my mom and my first digital piece. Then the second piece, Isheshe. Isheshe, that's the African masquerade. Isheshe simply means, I'm trying to look for a way to simply translate it. It's also a Yoruba word. It just loosely translates to culture. Isheshe loosely translates to culture or tradition. So Isheshe is basically an African mask. It's basically an African mask which just shows the celebrates the culture, which just celebrates the culture of the African people because we all know that masks are very important to African culture, and they always have like very huge symbolism in African culture as well. So this particular mask, um, I used a lot of bright colors because this particular mask is supposed to signify courage. So yeah, and it's supposed to be like a feminine mask too. So I used yellow and reds, and I also included purple because I mean royalty. Purple is my favorite color. So you tend to see a lot of purple in my pieces. I always like to incorporate it in my pieces because it just gives me some very good feeling. So Isheshe is basically an African mask, a female African mask signifying strength and tenacity, basically. So that's it about Isheshe. Then the next piece in the collection is titled African Kings. That's um, the three the mastheads, sorry, the two mastheads and the pharaoh head. So I wanted something that would like incorporate the different parts of Africa. So I chose the pharaoh head to represent, North Africa and Egyptians and all of that. Then the then the then the two mask heads as well to also represent the strength. That's why I named this piece African Kings because it's supposed to like represent the strength of the African people, so to speak. This collection is basically an Afrocentric collection that is just supposed to celebrate Africans and African people. It's just supposed to be a beautiful collection celebrating African beauty and strength. Then the piece in the collection, sorry, the fourth piece rather, as Nubian Queen, the woman with the green scarf head, as Nubian Queen. That's also a piece celebrating melanin. If you notice, this piece is very, like the skin tone is really, really dark. And I like to paint really dark skin tones because people tend to make dark-skinned people feel like we're not beautiful enough, or there's something wrong with our skin tone. Even amongst our fellow Black people, colorism is a big problem. I once dated someone who just out of nowhere woke up one morning and told me that, oh, it feels like I would be more beautiful if I bleached my skin a little. And I'm like, huh? Where is this coming from? This was actually like the cause of the breakup, no jokes. I'm like, where is this coming from? I don't understand. Why do you think it's okay for you to tell me that kind of thing? So I like to represent really dark skin tones in my pieces, just to show that black skin is beautiful, dark skin is beautiful. You do not have to tamper with your skin tone to feel better about yourself or make anyone tell you, oh, you're black, you're too dark. I feel like you should tone your skin a little or maybe bleach a little so you know you're a little lighter and you'd conform more to the beauty standards, so to speak. So Nubian Queen is just basically a piece showing that black skin is beautiful in whatever form it appears in. You don't have to like alter your skin or anything to make yourself feel more beautiful. Then the other piece, the next piece after that, as Boki. Boki was inspired by one of my Twitter followers because she's one of she's a very strong feminist voice on Twitter. And when I saw this particular picture, she was holding a cigarette in the she was holding it, as you can see, she's holding a cigarette. And it just gave me this sense of freedom because African women are taught to shrink themselves to make themselves feel, you have to present yourself a certain way, be proper. You can't do this, you can't do that, you have to be a certain way. So a woman, just holding a cigarette and posting a picture without bothering what anyone would think. I think that's the ultimate picture of freedom, not giving a fuck, pardon my French, so to speak. So something just that particular picture really just resonated with me. And like I said before, also a very strong feminist voice on Twitter. And she's someone I aspire to be when I'm her age. Because she lives her life without trying to let anyone without trying to let societal standards or anything hold her back. Like I always say, like she's my spirit animal, so to speak, which is why I decided to recreate. I was inspired by that picture of her to recreate this particular piece, Boki, which was why I also named the piece after her. Then the next piece in the collection is Olawale. Olawale Boki is an oil on canvas painting. Is also a traditional painting. Olawale is a traditional acrylic painting as well, and it's named after my younger brother. I decided to create this piece I realized that I do not paint male figures, and I decided to, just create a male figure, and that was how Olawale was birthed. That was how the concept for Olawale came about, and I decided to name the piece after my younger brother. So Olawale just shows a majestic African man with his crown and in his beautiful brown skin, just being an African man and being comfortable in his own brown skin, basically. Then the next piece, Boluwatife. Boluwatife is also a traditional acrylic painting, and that particular piece is named after my niece. I created this piece to also celebrate the beauty of the African woman, so to speak. Like I said, this collection is to celebrate African women and African culture as a whole. So this particular piece, I created it also and decided to give it the Bantu knots style. So, then with the cowrie pieces and all of that. And yes, as you can see, the nose ring is also present there as well as a way to, try to express myself as well. And I also like to give my characters a lot of jewelry. I like to paint a lot of jewelry on my characters because I like to wear jewelry a lot as well. And yeah, people will still talk. Like people would literally complain about everything, even when it doesn't concern them. So like because of all of these things, people complain that, oh, you have too many piercings, you wear too much jewelry and all of that. I just try to recreate these characteristics of myself that people tend to make me feel bad about. I try to recreate them in my paintings just to like, I don't know, maybe make myself feel good about myself, so to speak. Yeah, I guess. Then the next piece is titled Linda. Linda is a traditional acrylic and oil painting inspired by my friend. She's Kenyan. Her name is Linda. She did this really nice birthday shoot, and it just really it just really resonated with me. I saw the picture and I was like, I have to, recreate this somehow. And she liked the idea, and that's how Linda was brought to life. But I decided to give her this landscape, this sunset like firelight kind of landscape, because we know Kenya is very popular for their beautiful sunsets. So I decided to incorporate that as the background with our native attire and all of that. So that's why it has that orange, fairy, sunset-like background to represent the Kenyan sunsets with our Kenyan attire. It just felt right to create it that way. Then the final piece is self-titled. It's called Omobola. That's actually like an abstract self-portrait of myself. So if you notice, it's very elaborate with the crown and yeah, she's wearing a purple dress because like I said before, purple is my favorite color. And I just had to give her all of my piercings, the jewelry, and then the Aquarius tattoo and symbols in the background as well, because my birth sign is Aquarius. So that particular piece is just me gassing up myself, basically. Yeah, so that's it about Orisun, the collection.
Wow. I have to say I was mesmerized by each pieces, right? I love
Thank you.
your attention to detail because I was looking at the headpiece, the ablawa, and the way that it was wrapped, right? You can follow each crease and you can like really see that almost came to life, like it was a real, really wrapped, and that was
Thank
fantastic.
you.
No, I
Thank you
mean,
very
you're
much.
welcome. That yo, and the fact that you're using acrylic and oil in such a way that it's bringing out these characters to life. I love every aspect of the artwork that you're doing, and including into the space because you're using it to represent you and the culture, the rich culture that's brought with it, right? And the fact that you put a pieces of yourself, with the piercing and the necklace, and you're incorporating that into each of your pieces. And so therefore, when someone, when the collectors start to collect your work and we start to see everybody's gallery, we can identify, right? Which ones are
Hmm.
yours because it has your signature on it. I love that. I love that.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. And I want to give you some words of encouragement. This space is going to have all kinds of people, but just know that this space is meant for you to be here, right? You will find growth, you will find value, you will be celebrated, and you will have what you're looking for in this space. I want you to leave with one thing. Ultimately, when you look back and say, I participated in the NFT space, what do you want out of the space?
What do I want out of this? Well, I want I want I want to get first, I want to get value for my work, and I want other creatives to get value for their work as well. And I want to be able to say that I left my prints in the sands of time by by celebrating, I mean, my roots, my origin, where I'm from. I'm even in my as a person, my sense of style and everything is very Afrocentric. I love to wear Ankara prints, tie and dye, stuff like that. So like I want the African culture, the African people to be celebrated. I want the African people to be recognized and celebrated and appreciated in the space. I want the space to stop seeing African people as some second class or third class citizen. I want us to be heard. I want us to be seen. I want us to be a force to reckon with. I want us to be powerful. I want us to stop being second or third option. I want us to be number one.
Mm.
That's what I want for myself, for my African people, and for the Black people in the space. I mean, we've been sidelined enough. It's our time to finally dismantle the entire table and create our own table. We don't have to ask for a space at the table anymore. Dismantle the entire table and create our own table, create our own space, let our voices be heard, and let us push our own people, put them on pedestals, and celebrate ourselves because we deserve it. We are amazing, we're beautiful, we're strong, we're talented, we're intelligent, and we're wonderful. That's just what I want from the space. I want us to actually be seen for who we are and not for some trauma porn or something that they believe that is what Africa or Africans is all about. That's not what we're all about. We're a strong, rich, amazing people, and I want us to be seen for who we really are.
Well, today you definitely show that, right? In your artwork and the strength and the
Thank
passion
you.
that you bring. So I want to thank
Thank
you. I
you.
want to thank you for joining us today, bringing all of you, right, to the table
Thank
and
you very
present
much.
the only way that you know how to present. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Really.
you so much. And thank you very much for this opportunity. This is a very amazing initiative. And I'm very glad that I had a chance to talk about my work and talk on this platform. You're doing really amazing. I mean, after that day we spoke on Clubhouse and then you told me about this. I didn't know it was going to be like this big. Like, you've put in a lot of work into this, and I have to give you your flowers. Well done. Well done. This is really amazing. This is something really amazing you've done. Thank you for giving Black women a voice. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime. I definitely want to work with you. So I'll be reaching out to you, and there's definitely
Definitely looking forward
opportunity
to
for
that.
collaboration there. All right.
Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. All right. Have a good one.
You
Wow. We have we have been able to um, get to know so many wonderful artists and so many wonderful work. And just to imagine that people are using apps to create this, and apps on their phone, apps on their laptop, apps on the computer to create these artwork that normally, you would need a paint and acrylic and a canvas to create, but people are actually reintroducing that through apps and making sure that they participate in this space. I think that's fantastic. We have another wonderful woman, and this girl, she's been, rocking with us since, she came on Clubhouse. She's a calm and even spirit. Renaissance is one of those individuals that you definitely want to get to know. And she actually was able to make me cry, which was deep within itself. By just asking a simple question, oh my God, we see the baby. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh. Hey, Renaissance, how are you?
Peace, I'm good. This is Nandi.
Oh,
She's going to be joining us today, this morning.
is it it's a boy or a girl?
It's a young lady.
Oh, okay. So she said, I'm an up and coming artist too, so you're gonna have to showcase me. She looked up too. She said, "Yup." All right. So I'm going to
Yeah.
leave you and have you introduce yourself, and then we'll also share your work that you want us to share as well. Just let us know when you're ready.
All right. So what are we? I'm introducing myself. You said, right? I think that's what.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I left before you understood. Yes, you are. Take the time to introduce yourself and then start talking about your work.
Okay. Peace, everybody. I am Renaissance. I'm a photographer from St. Louis, Missouri. And I am the creator of Her Imminent Reign, which is a multi-women-led project, visual project, honoring Black women from the past. Our entire crew, production, and cast are all Black women as well. And I wanted to do that to be the change that I wanted to see. Don't start. I am also a master collaborator, so I collaborate with a lot of people IRL, and I'm learning to do that in Web3 to be able to, connect communities, bridge gaps, and to have necessary conversations and then spread economic power, empowerment within our circle of our people. So, we're gonna take you to Baba. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think she's better for now. Aside from that, my project, like I was saying, it is Her Imminent Reign. And so we have literally changed the game in St. Louis. I don't know if I'm sure it probably exists somewhere else. But we have definitely put on some amazing, amazing content. Like the level of empowerment that the women that are on the team have experienced is, I can't even explain, how well things have gone. We've had the opportunity to work with young people who've interned with us as young as, what was the youngest? 9 years old. And they're all homeschooled. A big portion to this project for me is making sure that we continue to fund the homeschool co-op, which is called Sovereign University, where I am also a French teacher, and I teach children from the ages of 5 to, I was the oldest, 14 years old. We spend a lot of time, developing curriculum that is culturally appropriate for our kids, for our culture. Even though we cover some of the basics, we do our math, science, that type of thing, but we've also incorporated STEM. We've also incorporated architecture. We've also incorporated investment and business classes for our kids. And from 5 years old to 14, they're all learning this content, this information. So it's been really rewarding to be able to continue to pour into the young minds, especially in a time period in neighborhoods where education, because of the pandemic, has literally gone on a decline. So I'm really, really, really excited to be a part of that. We also, as a part of this project, we're also donating to a doula scholarship fund. I am a certified doula here in St. Louis. And a big portion to why having a doula scholarship fund is so important to me is because of the rise in Black maternal death during birth. And it's really kind of disturbing. I have 5 children. I'm a mother of 5 and a wife. And it's life-changing when you have someone like a midwife or a doula who can advocate for you in the hospitals, who know the language, and they teach you the language so that you can advocate for yourself and you can let the doctors or whomever know what you do and don't want. And sometimes when you do have that chip on your shoulder where you know your stuff, or you have somebody there or people there who are part of your tribe who know what's best for you, because you've had that discussion previously, trust and believe the doctors, the nurses, the staff, they listen. So I'm specifically targeting teen moms because I was a teen mom. I had my first child at 16, and she is now 16. So do the math, you know how old I am now. where was I? Yes. So I had my first child at 16. Went to the hospital when it was time to have my baby. Didn't know what to expect. No prior education, no prior knowledge. Whatever the doctors did is just what the doctors did. And that's what I trusted to be law, and turns out, fourth child, fifth child later, it wasn't all true. Shh. Baby, can you get her? Turns out it wasn't all true. So, it's important for us, especially as Black women, to have a tribe. You got to have your tribe when you get ready to have your baby, whether you're deciding to have your baby at home or whether you're deciding to have your baby in the hospital. You need a tribe. And so that's a second piece. And then the last piece, well, third to last piece, is that we'll be taking some of the art that we've created from the project and actually putting them on Metro bus shelters in the inner city, where there's no inspiration, where there's trash all around the bus shelters, where there's old cool cigarette ads and abortion ads or something like that. Like, I feel like there needs to be more inspiration in those spaces. From 2017 to 2019, I spent all that time, riding the bus and stuff when I was in college, and it wasn't easy, but I also looked around in my surroundings and I didn't feel the need to do anything different. Like, I could have been brought down on the frequency that was around me. And I do feel like there needs to be some more uplifting in our communities. And that does start with the visual aspect, which is a big portion as to why I got into photography in the first place. Post Ferguson, it was important for me to change the imagery that was being portrayed of Black people. We're not people who go, in stores and loot and riot. Protest is a form of communication. And Mike Brown didn't do anything that granted, made it worth the cop killing him. So for me, I just needed to change the imagery that we see, and I'm just over, how we're being viewed. And so I spend a lot of time in my studio, which I opened during the pandemic in 2020, May of 2020. I spent a lot of time in there capturing Black women. Those are not necessarily, I can't say they're my preferred customer, even though I love capturing Black women. I do have, preferred customers who are Black men as well. However, what ends up happening is that I make Black women feel good. I increase their self-esteem and boost their confidence. I allow them to see how beautiful they are through the way that I'm capturing them. And so I've had the opportunity to, work with Black women a lot over these last almost 2 years now since I've opened my studio. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity, So the last piece to this puzzle of my project is paying all of the women that were involved in this project in their first crypto compensation. So so far I want to say we're at 21, 22 Black women who worked on this production between 2021 and 2022. And we're just growing. We have more work to do. I'm going into the production year for 2023. And so a lot of the funds will make sure that we compensate Black artists. Like, I know a lot of us, we do this stuff because we love it, but it doesn't always pay. And I do believe that being an artist is the most courageous job you can have. And I got that from Miss Vanessa Cooksey, who is a Black president over the Regional Arts Commission in St. Louis. But she said, being an artist is the most courageous job that you can have because sometimes it's very thankless. You don't always get paid. You can't oppress an artist, right? We'll always find a way to go up, through, around, behind, under, all of those things just to get the message out. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I'm working on.
wanted to do this project because I am obsessed with Black historical figures and the documentaries of them. And what I noticed was there was a gap in those stories.
Renaissance,
my thought was to
we
choose
are
3 Black
sharing
women from 3
your
different
first
eras.
video
So I chose
right now.
these 8 amazing women from St. Louis. And when I say they brought it, they absolutely brought it. I highlighted Erica Huggins, Leontine Price, and Florence Mills. I want this project to show people that as Black women on the inside of creating something like this, we can collectively collaborate, be effective, and honor our people that came before us. And then on the other end, I want people to know who these women are.
My friends and I made this for you.
All right, that was the first one. There's another one, correct?
It's a POAP.
It's a POAP? Okay. All right, let me share the POAP. All right, so do you want to talk about the video?
Sure. So that is just the behind the scenes for the project, for the production last year. So we had the opportunity to get a lot of that footage captured. We actually also did reenactments of each one of the women. So like I said, the core base of this project is we honor women from the past who have been forgotten or who have done things and who have achieved and accomplished things no matter what, but we're just not always pushing them into mainstream, right? A lot of times when we talk about the same stories in mainstream, it's the same people. We may have different renditions. Maybe somebody else is talking on their behalf, but we're still talking about the same people. The same narrative is being pushed. And so in my thoughts, there's that we need to talk about other people, who else is out there. And so when I went to go find, and search for these different women, these are the ones that I've come across last year. And we did reenactments as well of them. So we did a reenactment of Florence Mills, Erica Huggins, and Leontine Price. And then this year for 2022, when we did the IRL opening at the Dark Room in STL, which is a jazz spot, alongside Kransberg Arts Art Foundation, we actually premiered the film in the theater. And then we also had a reveal of the photography pieces with the 4 women that I added to the collection this year, as well as a stage performance play monologue, which was really, really, really dope. So I'm just really, really excited. We actually premiered on March 12th. And so that was the opening day. And so now I'm working on actually doing the NFTs of the 7 women at this point. And then furthermore, the actual project got accepted by the St. Louis Lambert International Airport to be on display for 2023 and 2024.
Congratulations. Wow. Wow. Now, since we have a global audience, can you give a little bit background about the ladies that you are choosing to do a reenactment on?
Absolutely. So the first lady is Florence Mills. She was actually the Queen of Happiness, the first African-American comedian who was ever on Broadway, in a Broadway play called Dixie on Broadway. And I chose her because when I went to go look up women from the Harlem Renaissance era, which is I'm like obsessed with that time period. I love it. But when I went to go look for women during that time period, what I found was that she didn't have any footage. There's no footage of her. A lot of that stuff was either lost or stolen. And that's why her fame was forgotten, which is why her Imminent Reign is titled the way that it is. It's like, we're going to talk about her. We're going to find her some way, somehow, and find a way to bring her forward. So people know who she is. So that was Florence Mills. The next lady is Leontine Price, who was a opera soprano. And she actually was really dope. She's won 20 Grammy nominations, as well as some national endowments. She was the first African-American opera singer to be as big as she is today. I think she's still living, but this was like in the 1940s and 50s. Yeah, she's still out there though. And I definitely tried to get in contact with her people so I can so I could talk to her, you know. And then the third lady that you guys saw in here is Miss Erica Huggins, who in fact actually was called the Secret Weapon. Man, she's so dope. She was from the Black Panther Party. She actually was a educator for the Black Panther Party, and she was the leading member of the Black Panther Party in the LA chapter. So she opened up its first school there. She was the first Black woman to be appointed to the Alameda Board of Education, and her husband was what was her husband's name? John Lewis, and was it John Lewis? Ooh, don't give me the line.
The senator, congressman?
No. Dang, now I gotta look it up. I forgot, but I forgot. I don't know why it's leaving me, but he was actually assassinated alongside Newton, Huey P. Newton. He was assassinated alongside him right before their baby was born. So it is, I don't know if you've probably looked at some old footage and videos from when they had, you would see when the FBI and the police raided the Black Panther Party's houses, and you would see the Black Panther Party from the top of the John Huggins, that was his name. Okay. But you would see the Black Panther Party from the top of the building with their snipers, you know, shooting back at the police or whatnot. He was murdered during that time period. And she went on to partner with people like Maya Angelou and things of that nature, and they would come to the school to teach the kids. So I'm like super inspired by her, because I do kind of feel like I'm walking in the same purpose as her, being a homeschool teacher, as a part of the revolution right now with our kids. And I don't play about those kids. So we actually teach our kids like survival skills and things of that nature. You know, we go take them hiking, put them out in the wilderness. They learn how to filter their own water. They understand weapons, but we have not introduced actually using weapons with them. But they do understand it, you know, from a standpoint of, okay, if this is something that I need to do, I know what I need to do, you know. And so those are the 3 women that we honored last year. And then this year we honored 4 women. The first one is Frederica Washington, who was an actress. And she spent a lot of time being an activist for the African American community. She was a fair-skinned woman who refused to use her skin tone to pass for economic and social gain. And she played in a movie called Imitations of Life. So if anybody has ever or have not, if you haven't seen that movie, I definitely strongly encourage you to go watch it, because it's really good. The other woman is Hazel Scott. She was the first Black woman to have her own TV show and a pianist. And she spent a lot of her time, you know, performing in white clubs and things of that nature. And then shortly thereafter, you know, she was actually blacklisted, you know what I mean, for her, from her fame by the same people who gave it, you know, put her on these pedestals and things of that nature. The other lady we honored was Miss Lois K. Alexander, who actually was the founder of the Black Fashion Museum in New York at the Harlem Institute of Fashion. She actually received over $20,000 in grants and national endowments for the arts, where she curated the museum to preserve Black history, Black historical designs, like people that learned how to sew from their grandmothers, our ancestors, and things like that. Those are the people that she talked to, and she traveled across country to collect those items and put them on display in the museum. And then the last woman that we honored, of course, is Miss Debbie Allen, who was an actress, a dancer, choreographer. She was an alumni of Howard University. She played in shows like Fame, A Different World, and she's a 3-time Emmy Award winner, and she has over 10 different Image Awards. Who now today she actually is still doing really dope work with her dance school in Los Angeles, and spending a lot of time, doing things to bring up the next generation in the dance area.
Love it, man. Ooh, congratulations to you. The chat, people are loving your project, loving the fact that you're showcasing Black women. It's fantastic. We have another person who's from St. Louis who said that they will definitely connect with you and be able to talk to you about what you're doing. It's fantastic because I know when you first came on, you were all about history, right? All about making sure that our history gets recorded onto the blockchain. And I'm very excited that this is, your project that's coming to life right now, and you're able to talk about it. So tell us a little bit about the POAP.
So the POAP is for anything that I attend for the Women's History Month. For Women's History Month, if you collect that POAP, you'll have access to certain things. And this is right now, I'm working on things for people in St. Louis or people who travel to St. Louis. And a big portion of that is because I can't travel to all of the NFT things that people have going on, but I do want to establish an NFT presence in St. Louis. And so for those who are, collectors of this POAP, they'll be able to have access to the different partnerships that I've created so far. So as of right now, I do have a partnership with Turn STL, which is a Black-owned restaurant here in St. Louis, and they got some fire food. And so my people who have the POAP, when they present it, they actually get the opportunity to save on their meal. And so I'm trying to creating like a little crawl of like Black-owned businesses that people can, visit when they come and have different St. Louis experiences that are catered more towards us. And so then the other cool thing can you join it? Okay. The other cool thing is that with Turn, we've actually partnered with them too, because they're honoring every woman every week that we've chosen this year. So all 4 women this year, every week will be honored with their own drink. And so they're like customizing cocktails for each woman. And so far we've done Debbie Allen and Hazel Scott. This week, I need to talk to them about who it's going to be. They even surprise me every week. It's just based on feeling what they want to do, which is cool. And then I just post and tell people about it. And so the people with the POAP, they actually save on their drinks, get the drink for free, or things of that nature. So I'm just creating partnerships, with different Black-owned brands here for people to have different STL experiences.
Awesome. I love it. I love the fact that you're finding ways to incorporate NFT into IRL, right? And having people participate in the community, as well as get an introduction to the NFT, because I'm sure it's a talking piece at this point, and getting people interested.
I'm really like gun-ho in this space. I love it here. I definitely spend a lot of time talking about it and being, in the different rooms. However, when I talk to people in real life, they're like, oh, NFT is a buzzword. So that's what gave me the title for my first onboarding event here in St. Louis, the first ever NFT onboarding event in St. Louis. It was called NFTs, Not Just a Buzzword, where I invited people who have just heard about it and wanted to know more into the space. And I had a guest speaker, Logic, and another guest speaker, River, who came through and talked about their projects, who talked about their successes in the space, who gave advice and tips for how people can enter the space. And then I walked people through, the basics, like what you need to know. And I also definitely sent them to Black Women in Blockchain, Metaversable.io, because they need to get their security on point. Before you think about coming over here in NFTs, you need to understand security, which was something that you guys pumped into me from the beginning. And I'm so grateful for that, because I've definitely taken that to heart and making sure I'm protecting, myself, my assets, my ankles, my ass, all kind of stuff. So
Awesome. Man, I love everything that you're doing in this space. You're one of those people that you became a student, you grasped the concept, and you went out and apply it. And that's what we love about, the ability to participate in this space and build that community. So I want everyone to check out her POAP. It has a QR code that, you could hold up your computer, I'm sorry, your phone to your computer and scan it and be able to collect that POAP. Or you can go to hereminentrain.art. That's once again hereminentrain.art, and be able to collect the POAP. We will put that in our Discord as well. And if we have time, we will also put it in the chat. So we want y'all to collect it, participate. And then, when you go to St. Louis, make sure you tap into Renaissance and connect with her as well. So yes. All right,
Yeah.
Renaissance, do you have any final word?
No, like really just thank you for the space. Thank you for everything that you do, Yinka. It's always empowering. It's always inspiring to me, as well as Nicole. Y'all killing this shit. Like, kudos to y'all for a full month of honoring women. Girl, I was sitting up here like, how you doing, honey? But kudos to you guys for everything that you do. I'm gonna always put on for this organization and for everything that y'all doing, because it's necessary and it's worthy. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Renaissance. Really appreciate it. We appreciate you and the work that you're bringing. All right. Take care. Say hi to that baby for us. We love to see her chew and be eating. So awesome. She was a good sport. We enjoyed her, and we can't wait till she gets into NFTs as well, because she may be dropping something soon. Who knows, right? So I'm excited about that. All right. Now we are ready for our last piece, but I want to give you guys time to maybe take a bathroom break, take a break, stretch. I know I need to stretch. So we're going to be back in 5 minutes. All right. I said that we were coming back and we're back. All right. So, we had technical difficulties because you guys couldn't see this particular speaker's NFT art. So we got everything squared away. Technology sometimes is against us, but we managed to wrangle it in and make sure that it's working. And hopefully it continues to work. So we're going to go ahead and bring up my sister once again. I'm really cheesing here because I'm really excited that she's able to actually, come up and share. So, Ola, are you ready? Go ahead and unmute. All right. So as we wait for her computer to uh, stop lagging just a little and make sure that she unmutes, then we can go ahead and have her continue her presentation. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Yay! Okay. We've got this. Things happen. Things happen, but hopefully we have this now, right? So comedy of errors today, but I was trying to stay on the share screen because it finally worked. Um, would you like me to go back to that?
Yeah, for some reason where it seems like the share screen is now back to um, the StreamYard. So if you can go fix that and have it shared back to your collection.
Will do. Okay, so are you seeing the
Yes,
one of my NFTs right now?
yes, yes, yes,
All right,
yes.
and is it up louder now? Okay, great, yay. Okay, so folks, thank you for bearing with me. This is my first start in the NFT world, and I'm actually minting my collection as we speak. I'm now on Open Seas under Rhythm Fit. You can find me under Rhythm Fit or Rhythm Fit by Ola, and this collection is actually called Rhythmic Peace. And so um, it actually was brought up from, I actually have certain figures like this within my video library of content for uh, fitness and exercise that incorporates dance within it. Um, I went through the whole spiel in the beginning before that all the stuff. And the first piece, the hands going from uh, you know, fist, Black Pride to the peace sign. And I'm going to move back just one more step, just to show you guys a little demo of my video live. Library on um, Rhythm Fit by Ola that is great exercise, fun exercise workouts. This is just a tidbit of what to expect.
So Ola, you're
When subscribed.
lagging and you're very choppy. So I'm not sure if it's the video that's cutting into your bandwidth, but it's making it really choppy that we can't get your entire words. Can you hear me?
I believe it's so that was very for my Rhythm Fit Viola program. Fix everything in the background. I put all that stuff together. Of course, you saw my first piece in the NFT. And I love the color black. I made me feel very empowering. And for my she doesn't have there, along with the fact that, of course, fists and into palm. My next piece. And so it's like a mixed media, putting this stuff, drawing the layouts and things, probably lagging, but I'll just keep going. Hopefully, you guys I put together. And I probably won't lag as for some reason. It's just not working for a lot of fun. And I have with this and within this space as I go forward together.
All right. So thank you very much, Ola. We were just a little bit laggy. What I'm gonna do,
I think my offering will be starting to on Instagram. So pretty much for them, and I will be posting salon C under rhythmic. The collection is rhythmic piece. Okay.
all right. Can you hear me now? All right, I'm gonna move her from the screen because I think she's very laggy. So you guys, I did post in the chat the Rhythmic Fit OpenSea account, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to share it as well. So just bear with me, and hopefully it does work on my end so you guys can see it. So give me a second while I go ahead and add it to the stream. Okay. So this is the NFT that she has minted. So this is the first of many that she will be posting that she's minted. All right. I'm going to bring her back up so maybe she's not lagging anymore. Hey, Ola, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you much
Okay.
better now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had to remove you. So apologies, but I did share the OpenSea link in our chat. And as you can see, I also shared the NFT as well that you minted. So congratulations on that. That's actually cool. I love it. And
Thank
I know
you.
you were saying some stuff. So why don't you go ahead and continue what you were saying because it was choppy and we weren't able to see it.
Oh, okay, okay. Can you hear me
Yeah, we
better
can hear you
now?
now. Yes, yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah, it's things happen. What I was saying is I am thrilled again to start doing this. Like I had said before, it was very painful losing a lot of my art pieces, paintings, furniture, things of that sort. But now, we have NFT, we have Web3 where nothing really gets lost, right? And to the point that you can even trace it from one hand to another is amazing in itself. So um, I'm definitely going to be minting as many pieces as possible. I would also love to do collaborations. I am actually trying to get on the metaverse. It's literally just me right now handling everything. So if anybody wants to uh, commission anything, sponsor anything, please contact me. I have so many more great ideas. I'm so excited to get into this space. So thank you.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you in this space finally. It only took you like years, but I'm excited
Hey,
that you're
it's not
able
been
to
out that
come.
long, so that's good.
It took years. It took years. Let's not joke. But no, but seriously, I'm excited to have you come into this space, embrace it, and actually use it for what it is. The ability to showcase your work, your talent, and add that to this ecosystem that we're building. So I'm excited that you're able to showcase it today as well. And not only because you're my little sister, but as another part of the community that we're adding to this event. Because that we're adding to the community because of this event. A lot of people love what they saw so far. We were able to see the video, the larger video of you dancing, but it was just a little bit choppy. So we can't wait for you to finalize that and have it available for viewing. So congratulations. Continue moving forward. And I guess my one of my questions for you is, what is your ask? Like, what do you eventually, once you've planted your feet into the space, what is it that you eventually want to happen?
Well, the sky's the limit, right? Or should I say now we're saying, the sky's not the limit, spaces. So, it's like finding new land, right? So we don't really have limitations right now. So I'm looking to explore. It's funny that I um, decided during the pandemic to put together something virtual and something very graphic and arts oriented because I think it fits so well in the space, and it gives me an outlet to kind of do, everything, kind of trying to express my art in so many different ways, all in one go. So venturing out to different things, even types of music, you know, uh, into space, something more original. It's just fun thinking that there's and so much to discover. It's like undiscovered territories getting into. So yeah, I think definitely I'm looking at metaverse definitely to host my classes, library, and art and so much more because I love graphics now, graphic designing and all that stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Well, can't wait for you to definitely show the rest of the community what you're bringing. I know personally that it's a whole host. It runs a gambit of everything that's artistic about you. So I'm looking forward to you fully stepping into it. And it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to say, "This is my sister," So and have you come into this space.
Thank
Really
you. Thank
excited.
you.
Much success to you. Looking forward to the many collaboration and success that you will have as you entered into this space. So thank you very much for joining.
Speaking.
All right, all right. So yeah, I was very excited to have her showcase her artistic nature and present it into the space. We have a lot of people who are watching this event and who are finding inspiration, who are able to connect with people from all walks of life, and also because of what they're doing in this space. So it's fantastic to be able to make that connection and bridge and facilitate that collaboration, future collaborations that will happen. We want you guys to continue tapping in. We do have 8 more days, or actually 9 more days left before the event ends. We've been going strong since March 1st, and we will continue to go strong till March 31st. We are excited to bring you so much more this week. There's a lot of content that's packed for this week. You're going to be introduced to NFTs in real estate and what people are doing there, and then NFTs with the healthcare industry and what's going on there. And I'm telling you that there are some breakthrough research that are incorporating NFTs into it, and you really want to tap into that. I want to encourage y'all to join us for Worldwide Wednesdays, where we get to meet some more ladies and talk about Web3. We're building this space. We're hearing, from artists that it's not as inclusive and supportive as it should be. And this is an opportunity for us to have that discussion that needs to be had, and also for us to create that opportunity that we all want to be able to tap into when it comes to this space. We cannot bring what we're doing in our IRL, real life, right, into this space where it's supposed to be inclusive and diverse, right? And therefore, we have this opportunity to kind of rewrite the way that we want the world to be. And this is an opportunity that I think everybody should start looking at and should start participating in. As you've heard, it's not just one of those things that you step into, it's one of those things that you come into and start building. So it's important for all of us as women to come into the space and start building and creating a path for ourselves. But also remember that community is important. And that word community does not mean just people that look like you. Because we've learned in one of our sessions that was presented by one of our speakers all the way in Spain, that we tend to be in our own ecosystem. There's so many different cognitive bias that we bring to the space. And in order for us to fully realize that potential, we need to eliminate those biases and be willing and able to participate, communicate, and see other people and experience things with other people, celebrate them, and collaborate with them. So that's what I'm hoping that this event fosters. All right, everyone, join us tomorrow for Worldwide Wednesdays, when we bring you more speakers and you get to see my lovely face. And you get to meet more women in the space who are internationally participating. So I want y'all to tap in. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, and have a good rest of your evening. Bye, everyone. Yeah. Okay. So you know what? We dance. Okay. So Nicole thought it would be funny to go ahead and put us on screen when we're dancing, and we're dancing. We're really dancing. I have to say that song has been one of the best songs ever. And, I'm hoping to incorporate in so many different things going forward. So yes, I do dance. That's my daughter. I do dance, when that song is on, and I see Tam backstage dancing with me. So, we getting our groove on, dancing, and we learned from, our self-care Sunday that dancing is one of the best things that you can do to help you relieve that stress. So I want to encourage y'all, when you hit the song and you hear it, because I'm about to bring up the song. Hold on for a second, because I'm about to do this. It's needed, right? We really got to make sure that people do enjoy and participate in this song, and we're all dancing, because we need to dance. This is a song that's meant for you to dance to. So give me a second while I share my screen, and we're gonna go out with some dancing. With some nice dancing right now. And I encourage, the committee members that are backstage, don't be shy. Do not be shy. Join us and let's dance. All right, Tam, I see you. See, we're not shy about dancing. We're going to dance, okay? Dun-dun-dun. So I hope next time you guys hear this song that you dance. Dancing is a great way of relieving some stress. Make sure that you enjoy life, participate, be active, be present, and enjoy the beauties of what this space is creating. Don't let anybody stop you from participating, for being in this space and collaborating. We want to encourage y'all to continue to dance. All right, bye everyone.